Fredrik is lazy, he only does the bare minimum. In school he got the lowest grades possible. He just managed to pass his subjects, and at work he doesn't do anything special. He only does the things that are asked of him, but sometimes not even that. Fredrik avoids work even when it needs to be done. Fredrik is a loser. He's lazy, he spends his time on his phone or drinking alcohol or doing just stupid things when he actually needs to get his work done. Fredrik procrastinates, he saves all his work until the last minute. He's unreliable, people can't trust him to get things done on time. Even though he saves things until the last minute, he still sometimes doesn't even get them done. And then we have Jax. Jax is on top of his work. He won't even go on his phone or drink alcohol until his work is done. Jax is not only on top of his work, he's actually even ahead of work. The task that will be assigned to him tomorrow is already done. The bathroom that needs to be cleaned by Friday has already been cleaned on Wednesday. Jax is not lazy, he doesn't procrastinate, he just gets things done easily. This video will make you stop being a Fredrik and turn you into Jax. Last year I was a very lazy person. I only got the bare minimum done. I was in university first year and I only got the lowest possible grades because that was all that was asked out of me. I felt miserable, I was sad, useless even, because I wasn't actually accomplishing anything important. I remember waking up, going to the lecture for 2 hours and then reading for 1 hour, and that would be everything I did in a day. I wanted to get better grades, I wanted to be on top of my class, I wanted to get extra university courses so that I would improve my skills in my field. I also wanted to start a passion project such as a YouTube channel or some kind of business, but I just couldn't do it because I was so lazy. But nowadays, a year later, it is completely different. I'm still in university and I'm on top of that, and I try to get the top grade in every single course. I'm currently taking an extra course which is teaching me an ancient programming language called RPG, which will give me job opportunities in the future, I hope. And I'm also uploading at least one video to YouTube every single week. I feel purposeful, useful, and very satisfied with life. I'm not saying this to brag, I am certainly not better than you. And last year I was in a terrible, miserable place, but now I'm way better. Because I have figured out how to be productive. And in this video I will tell you how I did it. Let's not waste any time. Number one, you need to focus on what's important. You may have ever felt the feeling when there's just so much work to do that you can't even begin with a single task. A couple weeks ago I was very overwhelmed. I needed to read and write for my normal university course. I needed to program for my programming course, and I also needed to script, record and edit a YouTube video. This was a lot of pressure for me. And when we are in those situations, we need to focus on what is important. And we need to make a list of the things that are actually most important. We need to prioritize our tasks. So if you are overwhelmed and you have too many tasks, you need to ask yourself, what is the most important task that needs to be done now? These would be things that can't wait. For example, if you've got an assignment due tomorrow. You know, this may sound obvious, but it's not obvious to everyone. It's certainly not obvious to Fredrik. Ask yourself every single day, what are the most important tasks today, and focus on them. Now, there is a framework for figuring out the most important tasks. Number one, you need to ask yourself, what is urgent? These are time-sensitive tasks, things that need to be done very soon, and tasks that can't really wait. You know, things like fixing a broken window or something that is due tomorrow. Get those things done first. The second part of this framework is impact. And this means that we need to focus on tasks which are important instead of focusing on tasks that don't really matter. So make sure the tasks you're focusing on are actually important. The third part of the framework is difficulty. If something is easy to get done, we should probably do that before the really difficult thing. It's probably easier to change a broken light bulb than to buy a new sofa, for example. And then we need to every single day create some sort of to-do list, whether we do it mentally or on like some note-taking app, of the most important tasks that need to be done. So for example, let me show you how I would do this. So here on my computer I've got the things that need to be done today and this week. And remember the framework: urgency, impact and difficulty. So we've got record a video, and then for every single one of these we're going to put them into the list here. So we got today, another day this week, and every day. So for example, record video, I'm doing that right now. That is due today, so I'll put that over there. This is also an important task because I need to upload videos every single week at least. Then we've got edit and publish video. I'm filming it today, so I probably don't need to edit it today. Because I'm sitting here recording, I'm actually getting something done with my YouTube goal. So let's put that in another day this week, maybe tomorrow or the day after, something like that. Next task, meal prep, food expiring soon. Right, so this one I probably needs to get done today. It's a very urgent task because the food is expiring today. If the food expires, I will have to throw it away, so the impact is pretty high. But the difficulty is also pretty high because it's a big meal prepping session. I'll put that today because it's important. Next is editing work for a client. I know I have to do that this week, but the work I need to edit for my client has not yet been delivered to me. When it is delivered to me, it will be pretty urgent, it will have a big impact, and it will also be pretty difficult. So I'll put that for in another day this week. Next, I need to read a course book which is due next week. So that's not very urgent. It will have a pretty high impact. I would say a medium impact. The world won't end if I don't read my course book, but it's nice staying on top of things. I like being productive. I'll put that into the everyday tasks, and I will read a little bit every day instead of reading everything the day before or at once, but more on that later. And there we go. Now I know what I need to do today. I can take off the record video, I'll meal prep later, and I'll probably clean my bathroom. And then another day this week are the rest of the tasks that I'm aware of so far. And these are the things I need to do every day this week. Now, I don't always do this in my notes app. I usually keep track of this in my head. But this actually shows how you could approach this. Whenever you're overwhelmed and there's too much to do, you need to create structure. Because in the beginning we had a pretty big list, but now it just looks easy, approachable. So this is way better. I guarantee that fixing structure will significantly improve your productivity way beyond anything else you can do. Get things done so that you can be kind to your future self. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm in university, and one thing I see all the time is that people wait until the last minute, the day before, to get a task or assignment done. And this causes a lot of stress and also a very long work day the day before the assignment is due. This is a stupid approach. Don't wait. Get started way ahead of whatever you need to get done actually has to be delivered. If you're watching this and you've got something that is due in, say, a week or 2 weeks, then start working on it now. Work on it a little bit every single day. Would you rather work 2 hours every day for 2 weeks on this task, or 16 hours the day before? I know what I would pick. If you get things done in time, you get the satisfaction of getting it done early, and you can stress less because you know that difficult task is already done. Really think about how your life will change if you actually start getting things done earlier. Yesterday I edited a podcast for a client, and I could have waited with editing that for a couple of days, no problems, but because I finished the podcast and everything related to that yesterday, I can relax today. I feel a sense of accomplishment. It also allowed me to make better work because I wasn't rushing to get it done. I had multiple days left before the deadline. If we are able to get things done before they actually need to get done, we will not only be able to relax better, we will deliver better work, but we will also get a better reputation from friends and colleagues and family and that kind of stuff. Because we are reliable, we get things done. Also, if you get things done earlier, or at least not in the last minute, you have more control over your life. You are in charge of your time. The time is not in charge of you. Getting things done is easier said than done, but if we combine the mindset I just talked about of getting things done early with the task list I mentioned before, then life will be so much easier, so at least give it a try. The key to beating procrastination and actually getting things done is to create some structure. If we know what we have to do, it will be way easier to get things done. Every Sunday afternoon I sit down and I update my calendar for the next week. So this is my calendar, and I've got all kinds of stuff in it. I've got all the lectures I need to go to, the group work. I've even got my laundry booking time and when I need to wash my hair in my calendar as well, and all the social obligations as well. This makes it so easy for me to actually be able to tell what I need to do and when. I don't need to put a lot of mental strain trying to remember things. You know how a calendar works, but the benefits of this are pretty big because I don't end up wasting time on my phone not knowing what to do, because there's always another task in the calendar, so I know what to do, and everything also gets done, and no task is really forgotten because it's in the calendar, so I'll remember it. If you create a calendar, you will be in control of your life, and you feel less overwhelmed because you actually keep track of all the things that need to be done. And looking at my calendar, it's actually not that bad. I can manage this, surely, but also remember to not book too many things in per day, because you need rest, and if you've got too many things in your calendar and you start failing, you will lose the motivation to keep going, and you'll just start doubting yourself, which is not good. So make a reasonable amount of tasks per day in a calendar. So far we've talked about prioritizing tasks, focusing on the most important thing. We have talked about doing things now instead of later, and we've also created some structure with the calendar. But none of this will work if we don't create discipline. Now don't click off here, because this is actually important. This is the final piece of the puzzle, because motivation is limited. We can't rely on motivation to get things done, which is why we've created a calendar and a task list. So we need to be consistently disciplined with our task list and calendar, and we need to create them every single week. Because the biggest problem many people have with their productivity, at least from what I can see in my life experience, is that it's hard to get started, and I experience this too, but If we've got a task list or a calendar, we know exactly what needs to be done. So it's not that hard to just get started. Whereas it's way harder to start something if you don't know how to do it, or worse, if you don't actually know what to do. The task list and the calendar fixes all of these problems. When we have a task list, it is easy to do things. There is a plan, and now we just need to take action and accomplish the things we need to do. Now, it does take time and effort to develop discipline, but I believe in you. You can do it. Well done for making it this far into the video. If you have watched this far, you should subscribe to the channel and join this little community we've got of other people who also want to improve their life. I will make a commitment that every single video I make will change your life somehow. So it will be worth it for you. Click like if it helped, share your advice below, and if you need personal help with your productivity, click the link below and book a call with me and I'll help you out. Click and watch this video right now, and take care. Have a great day. I hope it helped.